Brand new this year, we have a new player distance iron from Ping. We're looking at the Ping i525 iron. There's some tech in this thing, and Chris is going to take us through what it's all about.
A little bit of tech here. So okay. I say a little bit sparingly.
Yeah.
So evolution of what we have come to kind of be used to with i500. So new i525 continues with that 17.4 stainless and miraging steel face.
Okay.
So face on this thing is hot.
Okay.
So it is hot. So i500 kind of set itself up in the marketplace to be more or less a rocket ship in that player's distance category.
Yep.
So i525 through robot testing and player testing, no different. Touching a little more on that miraging steel face, they do implement what they refer to as VFT. So it's a variable face thickness,
okay,
allowing for that face to really give us some ball speed, especially on mishits. One thing that does differentiate i525 from 500 is the acoustics.
Okay.
So one complaint that we did see in i500 was it was loud.
Mm-hmm.
So transitioning into i525, Ping did address that by implementing a new proprietary material in the head, and they're putting 4 grams of that material in the head to help with some vibration dampening and also just fine-tune that acoustic component a little bit.
Perfect.
So let's hit some shots with it, see what we think.
Holy smokes.
That was fast off
the
face.
That was fast. That was straight up too.
That was first impression, first time you've ever hit this iron.
Yes, it was. Wow, you know, that felt really good. I would say the acoustics have been addressed too, because that sounded great. That wasn't loud at all.
No, that was nice off the face. Those hollow cavity irons sometimes have a tendency to be a little pitchy.
Yeah.
And that had a great sound to it.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
And we're hitting a 27-degree lofted 6 iron, so not the strongest lofted club that we have in that player distance category.
Yep.
But the ball speed coming off of this thing, pretty impressive.
Pretty solid. That was just a touch mishit though, but that kind of speaks. Look at that spin number, stayed consistent.
That was nice.
How about it? I mean, that's not even curving. Those are so consistent.
So, and Ping does highlight some extreme perimeter weighting components in this as well.
Okay.
So we've got some multi-material construction at play, but then they also do have some tungsten that they put towards the toe and towards the heel to help with some of that perimeter weighting. Also gives us that, I mean, that nice initial vertical launch that you're seeing and that you alluded to right away, that very first shot.
Right.
That thing jumped off the face and got vertical quick.
How good is that bag feel too? That's always something I'm partial to. I like to see a club that looks good in a bag, and thing is mean.
Dispersion downrange has been very consistent too. That might have been the best out of the sample there.
Yeah, I can tell you, I felt that one. That one felt good.
Oh, that one was hit really solid. You're averaging right now at 134 ball speed.
Yep.
The last one that we just hit, I mean, efficiency was as good as it could get, 6,500 RPMs a spin.
Yep.
So even a touch spinnier than what we used to see with i500,
right,
which was a complaint for some players, is they didn't spin them enough.
Right.
That last one, 6,500 RPMs, 137 ball speed.
That's great. And I like a little more spin. Gives you a little bit of workability, but I'm still getting a ton of speed here, which is fun. You can see I got just a touch steep on that.
Yeah, we were 5,500 RPMs on that one, so
yeah,
high on the face, did cut a little bit of spin.
Yep.
Still maintained ball speed, we were 133 there. Carry number was nice at 191. So another improvement that we see in this next generation i525 is actually an improvement in what they refer to as their Micromax groove pattern.
Okay.
So as you transition into some of those shorter irons, they've actually been able to tighten up the groove pattern and fit as many as 4 additional grooves on the face. So it does help to eliminate the occasional flyer that we would see.
I could hit this one for a while. This is fun. Looking down at it before I even made one swing, very clean look at address. The heel to toe ratio is nice. Sometimes you get in those player distance and it looks a little too long.
Exactly.
They've done a nice job here, nice and compact with that top line. As someone who gravitates more towards like a player's cavity or even a blade, this isn't off-putting at all. This is something I could easily swing, especially given the numbers that we're seeing right now.
And the Hydro Pearl 2.0 finish that they have does do a good job as far as helping to transition the amount of camber there is in that top line. So the top line might actually be a little thicker than what it appears. So there is an opportunity to put a little bit more perimeter weighting in there and hide some forgiveness just in the transition of how that finish kind of conceals it a little bit. Really good ball there.
There is no curve in these balls. Like, they are just...
No, they are on a rope.
Okay, now it's a little audible here. I just need to see what my gamer does. After that, that was impressive. I just need to see how different that was. Already can see just a touch more curve. That's expected.
So we just did a little comparison. Gamer versus i525.
Yep.
Probably not going to be the best news for you.
Figured that. That was a fun one to hit, which is why I had to see how much it differed from my gamer.
525 was definitely a little bit more of a performer for us. I mean, just going left to right, looking at ball speed. So we were 3 miles an hour faster off the face with i525 compared to current gamer.
Okay.
So apex height stayed about the same, landing angle stayed about the same, but if we're going to take 3 miles an hour more speed, take that all day. When it came to dispersion down range, okay, so where we see the big difference here, spin threshold. Yep. Almost 1,000 RPMs different between what we saw with i525 and current gamer. Now, interestingly enough, launch angle, identical at 13.8 degrees.
Okay.
But when we start looking at carry and total number, apex height was identical, landing angle was identical, launch angle identical, spin threshold 1,000 RPMs, that's pretty big.
That's a big difference.
And what that results in is going to be basically right here in that carry number. I mean, we're almost 10 yards longer with i525. And dispersion down range, we have a larger sample in i525, and even adding that extra 10 plus yards, it's a little tighter.
I knew that. I knew that when I hit it. That's why I had to hit my gamer, make it a little audible to what we were doing in this video, just to see if that number was really, truly what it, and it was. I mean, I kind of had a feeling about that. And an important thing to note when talking about spin, because it is easy to juice those numbers with a super low spin.
Sure.
We're in a pretty ideal range in a spin window with that 6-iron in the i525.
We are, and like we talked about earlier, it's at 27 degrees.
Yep.
Okay, so you're 1 degree weaker on the current gamer, but 1 degree shouldn't justify 1,000 RPMs of spin differential from what we saw with i525.
For sure. And another important thing to note before somebody says anything about it, the shafts are exactly the same.
Shafts are the same.
Yep.
To wrap it up, I mean, we weren't planning on doing a comparison of i525 versus current gamer, but after that initial test and seeing some of those numbers, it was compelling stuff.
It was.
So bringing the gamer into it, we did see an improvement.
Yep.
Might be a change in the future.
Never know.
So initial feedback, you said, look at address, check the box. Better acoustics than what we had when we did previous testing with i500.
Yep.
And ball speed numbers, consistency-wise, really, really solid.
Yeah, it was a great package. Didn't come here thinking that would even be entertained as a potential club to hop in the bag, just because a player distance iron is not one that I normally gravitate towards.
Sure.
But they've nailed it with this one because I am so partial to the way a club looks. This one checks that box and these numbers speak, so, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens here in the future.
That's why we test.
Uh-huh.